Hey, come here. Let me tell you something. I want you to imagine the perfect place to live. You have this beautiful street, you have nice homes, the neighborhoods are friendly, the schools are good, you have fun nightlife, you have a great area for family activities, you have beaches right down the road from you, you have cities in the other direction right down the road from you. Does this sound like a place that you'd like to live? Well, if it does, and you're intrigued, then stick with me because today I'm going to give you the pros and the cons of living here in Largo, Florida. Let's go. Hey there, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area, then make sure to subscribe. And if you want to be the first to get notified of any market changes in the area, then make sure to hit that bell notification. My name is Gina. My team and I have been helping people just like you move to the Tampa Bay area for the last 11 years. Whether you just want to get to know the area better, get some more information, or you are looking to move, feel free to reach out anytime. All of our information is in the description box below, and we would love to help you make a stress-free move to the Tampa Bay area. So, if this is your first time hearing about Largo, Florida, or you know it pretty well, but you don't know all the details about it, then let's dig in. Today, I'm going to tell you about 4 pros and 4 cons of living in this lovely place of Largo, Florida, right next to the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area. It couldn't be located in a better spot. So let's jump right in and start with pro number 1. Okay, pro number 1 is Largo has amazing parks. It has amazing places to go to take walks, to enjoy the wildlife, to get out and about, especially if you like to rollerblade or bike or any of the things that you can do in a park. Have picnics, take your kids to play in the playgrounds, just relax, go down by the waterfront. There's a ton of parks and they all have very different things in them that make them so unique. So I'm going to give you my top 3 parks and then 1 fun family center. So let's start with the first one. My first favorite park that's close to my heart because I spent a ton of time here is Eagle Lake Park. Now, Eagle Lake Park is located a little bit north in Largo and it's on the Clearwater border. Here you can do things such as hike around, bike, run, walk. You can enjoy family parties, and they even have a small little lagoon there where they have been known to see a little alligator swimming around. But as far as I know, it seems pretty friendly. Just don't get too close. My second park is John S. Taylor Park. John S. Taylor is located a little bit west of Alternate 19 and a little bit south in Largo. It is a beautiful park, has a lake right in the middle of it, so you can definitely walk around and enjoy the lake views, the wildlife, and everything that Florida has to offer. My third favorite park is Largo Central Park. Largo Central Park has everything. It has a recreation center. It has a bunch of playgrounds for kids. It has a community center. It has 70 acres of amazing trees and grass and places you can go roam and play and have a great time. It also is one of the main parks that has a lot of holiday attractions during those times of the year. So if you are thinking about checking out a park that has everything, Largo Central Park is definitely one of those places. And it's located centrally in Largo, right on the corner, so you shouldn't miss it if you drive right through. Okay, now my fun spot, that's not necessarily a park, but it's definitely a family fun attraction. It is called the Highland Aquatic Center. The Highland Aquatic Center basically has Olympic-sized pools, water slides, swimming. It is the place to go if you are a kid or you have kids or you just like that kind of fun, exciting atmosphere and day out with your family. It's definitely a place to check out, and it gets pretty popular in the warm months. So just be aware of that, but it's definitely a place to go, and everybody always has a great time. Okay, we're gonna move on to pro number 2, and that is that Largo is centrally located in Pinellas County. Well, South Pinellas County, that is, but it's smack dab in the middle. So why is that such a great pro? Well, you have the beaches about 10 to 15 minutes to the west. You have St. Petersburg about 10 to 15 minutes to the southeast. You have Tampa about 20 or so minutes to the east. You have Clearwater to the north. You have the water all surrounding you with tons of access to boating and swimming and kayaking and canoeing and all the things you want to do on the water. Basically, Largo is a place that no matter where you are, you have access to everything. It is a great centrally located area. It's about 15 to 20 minutes from the Tampa airport and about 10 minutes from the St. Petersburg airport. So it's not short of giving you access to some of the main things that you're going to want to do every single day. Plus, you have everything in Largo. You have shopping, you have restaurants, you have amenities and things that you need. But the homes that are in Largo are quaint and located on like quiet types of streets. So you definitely have that privacy feel while being close to everything. So that would be my pro number 2. Oh, and one other thing about Largo being centrally located, Tampa and the Bay Area is surrounded by water, of course. Largo being centrally located means that typically you don't see flooding, storm surge, and your insurance costs for those types of things are a lot lower. So do you want to be by everything and not have to worry about some of those types of natural disasters when they do show up? Then Largo sounds like a pretty cool place. Okay, let's move on to pro number 3. Pro number 3 is that Largo definitely has a lower cost of living. And for many, many people, that is a really great thing. The average to medium home price for the Largo area in general is anywhere from $300,000 to about $350,000. Now, obviously that changes as things with the market changes, but as you can see, you can actually afford a very nice home surrounded by everything, not in a flood zone, for a very reasonable cost. As you can see, here's some examples of some of the homes that you will see around Largo. And just a couple things to know is that most people in Largo, about over 50%, own their own home, but there is a large rental base as well. So if you are an investor looking for another home, or even somebody out of state looking for a second home, Largo might be one of those spots that you might want to check out. Okay, we are already on pro number 4. Pro number 4 is that most times when you're looking at a place to visit or a place to go, you'd like to know a little bit about the lifestyle and how it is to live in that area. Well, according to niche.com and many other websites out there, Largo actually rates higher than a lot of its sister cities, meaning that Largo rates high in schools, nightlife, diversity, home ownership, all of those types of things. So I would encourage you to definitely do your own research on this, but I think that it's a pro if anything rates pretty high in most categories, because that shows you that the overall quality of living is good. Now, let's move on to the not so great things about Largo and jump into the cons. Okay, we're going to talk about con number 1. Con number 1 is that Largo, it's spread out. And because of that, Largo doesn't actually have a downtown area. Now, there is a quote unquote downtown area, but it's not really something that you would go to like walk around and enjoy like a, afternoon out in the downtown. It's more of just like some buildings, a couple of access points to restaurants and things like that. But that is one of the things that Largo City is trying to change. They want to make Largo have an official downtown, a place where people can come and enjoy the day, congregate, experience all that the city has to offer. So for the time being, that is a con, I would say, because it's not really existing. So you're really just going to have things spread out all over Largo, homes, businesses, commercial. It's just all mixed in all over the place. And it doesn't have a distinctive place that you could really call a downtown. But that might be changing soon, so stay tuned. If it does, I'll definitely update you in another video. Okay, let's move on to con number 2. Largo is not very walkable. Meaning you can't just leave your house, walk down the street and expect to get to a waterfront like in St. Pete or a downtown like in Clearwater. It is, like I said, it's more spread out. So if you live in Largo, you're definitely going to want a vehicle, or you're going to want to make sure that you live near public transportation to easily get around. Largo is mainly comprised of larger roads that sort of form a grid pattern, north and south and east and west. And you will find that to go anywhere, you usually have to take one of those roads. Of course, you can take back roads, but for time efficiency, they're so easy to just hop on like the 19 or one of the main Largo Central roads and get to where you need to go. But just keep in mind that you definitely will need a vehicle. Okay, let's talk about con number 3. Con number 3, I would say, is traffic. And I would say that because Largo, like I mentioned, is sort of set up in a grid form. You have East Bay Drive, which turns into West Bay Drive as you go west. You have Highway 19, you have Starkey Road, you have Belcher Road, and you have Ulmerton. And these are some of the main roads that you will see in Largo. And most of the time, those roads get pretty full. A lot of them are 3 lanes on each side. They're not freeways necessarily, but they're just really large roads to get around Largo. Because as I mentioned, Largo really encompasses from the east side of Pinellas County all the way to the west side of Pinellas County. And being such a large area, you're going to have a lot of traffic moving in and out of these roads, trying to get on the 275, trying to get on the Highway 19, trying to get to the beach, trying to get to, North and South Clearwater area or the St. Pete area or anywhere and everywhere in between. So during certain times of the day, this road is definitely going to be more congested. And then I would say in off hours, you will still feel like there's a lot of people out, but it will be smoothly moving. So just keep in mind that if you do live in Largo, this might be something just to keep in mind. I wouldn't say that you're going to be in like a bumper to bumper situation at all, unless you're on some of the very main roads at the very high congested hours. Otherwise, just be aware that traffic's a little bit higher in the Largo area because of it being a little bit more spread out. Okay, let's talk about con number 4. I really had to dig deep to find a con number 4 because overall, Largo is a pretty nice place to live. And you definitely have your pockets like any city, but for the most part, it does provide you everything that you need, and you're close to everything in the surrounding areas to make your lifestyle pretty gosh darn good. But there is one thing about Largo that you should know if you're thinking about living or buying a home here. And like I mentioned back in a couple of the beginning pros and cons, Largo is more spread out. And when you think about a town that is more spread out and doesn't really have a downtown, like a place where people can come, more of a connection to your current city feel, it's sort of like everybody for themselves in a way, as in some areas are nicely kept up, some areas aren't. Some areas you see pride in home ownership and some areas you don't. With the percentage of homes that are owned being a little bit over 50%, that's great. It means that probably most people do have pride in home ownership and taking care of their property. But with such a large base being renters, you don't know if they just don't have the ability to maintain the property, or it's an absentee renter or something like that, to where you are just going to see sort of a mix in Largo. And because of this, sometimes parts of Largo are not so favorable. So what I would encourage you is to do research on this. And I can't specifically tell you details in this video, but I can give you some resources to go check out. So one of my favorite ones, and I've mentioned this in a couple of my other videos, is neighborhoodscout.com. I think that they have a really good overview of a lot of the details about the city, and it'll give you a better feel for things like safety, crime, schools, the neighborhoods, the diversity, all of that kind of stuff. So if that's something that you think would be useful to you, and if you are moving to the area, I definitely tell you to take a look at it. Please go check out those resources. The other one is bestplaces.net. And then of course, it's always the city website, which in this case, I think is just largo.com. Or there's the Census Bureau, which I would definitely say also has really good information to check out. So just do your homework about the area. Like I said, I think Largo is a great spot. You can't go wrong in many places. Just be aware of the area and make sure that you know the places that seem to be better for you and where you are in your life and what would be a good fit. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. So overall, I hope that gave you a really good idea of some of the things that you're going to find in Largo, Florida, and some of the pros and cons of the area. Of course, these grow and change and are different as people move to the area, as the cities change, as the rules and regulations change. This will change. So for now, these are my 4 pros and cons. If you do have any questions or you have any comments about anything that I mentioned, throw those down below. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I will see you later.